SexyHackers.com.
Sexy Hackers presents a podcast where anything goes, so long as it's read out loud from a book. Warning! Do not read this book straight through from beginning to end. These pages contain many different adventures you may have when you join your uncle, a famous archaeologist, in his search for an ancient civilization. From time to time, as you read along, you will be able to make choices. Your choice may lead to success or disaster. The adventures you have will be the results of those choices. After you make your choice, follow the instructions to see what happens to you next. Beware. Your expedition to the outback could prove deadly.
SexyHackers.com.
Life is like a story with many paths to choose. I gotta get some good friends to help me make it through. So here's the plan, just take my hand, the adventure's just begun. And all we have to do is turn to page fun.
And welcome to Turn to Page Fun, the only podcast where I, your host, Nick Fear, reads through a bunch of Choose Your Own Adventure books that I found in my partner's parents' attic in a trunk in the back and read them through with my friends. An idea that's so good that I immediately stole it from my partner and froze her out of the production process. With me are my panel friends today, this week. To my left is musician and comedy writer, Mr. Brian Bayer.
Thank you.
Hello.
And didgeridooist.
And didgeridooist. Is that the...
Did it.
I would say didgeridooer.
Didgeridoer?
Yeah.
I'm not a didgeridon'ter. I'll tell you that right now.
Didgeridoer.
That's the first rule of improv.
Yep.
Don't didgeridoo.
Do didgeridoo.
Oh, I said I was going to let you. All right, Jake. Next time, remind me.
I will remind you.
All right.
Next week? Okay.
Next week, yeah.
All right.
Next week.
I'm writing it down right now.
All right. Yeah. Put it on your Google Calendar.
Yep. For a week from now.
And right here on my right, I have professional dog owner, Miss Laura Halterman. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah, it started off as a hobby, and now
You just
professionally own.
Some might say the dogs own you, but they would be wrong.
No, that's pretty
That's
accurate.
accurate. Yeah, you can't go anywhere.
We bought a house specifically to have more room for dogs. That's a $150,000 choice just for dogs.
Fair.
It's ridiculous.
Seems responsible.
Yeah,
I like it.
It is responsible. It's a good decision. You're a very good decision maker.
A+.
A+ decision. And returning with us, our very special guest and professional not kidnapper, Mr. Jacob Wolfold.
That's me. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a crazy week. I just want to let
Of
you
not
know.
kidnapping?
Of not kidnapping people. It was tough. Yeah, I just sat in my chair at home and just thought about it. Felt like, man, I could be out kidnapping right now.
Yeah.
But I don't. But I think about it.
Right.
So now I'm a good person. That's the difference.
Oh, that chemical concoction you asked me to make, that's all ready.
Yeah,
So
the murder sauce?
Whenever you,
Please hurry up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
she's
that
gonna
is-
deliver that
Special
to
What
me.
was that for
injection?
again? You
Not,
didn't really
not
tell.
murdering children. I'll tell you that right now.
All right. Well, I'm convinced.
Could add that to your resume.
And chemist. Rogue chemist.
And not child murderer. Right now, we are continuing to read Terror in Australia, or if you like, Terror in Australia, by Shannon Gilligan. A delightful story of you, the protagonist, who is going out to join your uncle in the outback to discover an ancient civilization.
Or at least
do we
you-
know if
Like to.
Yes.
You're trying to.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't made it that far.
Do we know what, Laura?
do we know if Shannon is a male or female Shannon? That kind of colors my view on the writing.
Well, let's do a quick about the author.
Oh yeah, good.
So we can
Nice.
review this
That's a good
book.
idea.
Let us. There isn't about the author in the back. About the author. Shannon Gilligan graduated from Williams College in 1981. While a student, she spent a year studying at Doshisha University in Kyoto, Japan. When she's not traveling to do research for her books, she lives in Vermont. So clearly an expert on Australia.
Yeah.
Oh man, if like a ninja shows up later, I'm gonna be like, oh, there it is.
Shannon.
That's her university days.
If she is going through the normal, or not normal, but the usual average track of life, this book was written in 1988, and she graduated college in 1981. Shannon was younger than all of us here when she wrote this book.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
a cute little tidbit of information.
And
Yeah.
really, so the writers of these books are traveling to exotic countries. They're like, no, I need to do my research before I write this. It's very important.
Hey,
like,
who around here might want to kidnap me?
right? Can I?
Probably this old lady.
Let me just write that down.
So yes, last week.
Last week, we took the train to, let me take a look at
Alice Island?
Alice
Springs?
Alice Springs, which is right in the middle of Australia, according to this map in the beginning of the book.
Kind of like a last waypoint before you hit the real deep outback.
Yeah. And on that train, you bumped into a weird German guy and had a briefcase. And then you got off the train, and somebody said that they were being sent by your uncle to pick you up. And it was just going to be better for everybody if you went with her. And we decided stranger danger, no. And we didn't. So instead, we just got into a cab with a strange old lady who then proceeded to pistol whip us, tie us to a chair, and then insist that we buy camels for her.
And her group, the German guy, showed back up.
Yep.
For her group and the German guy, we tried to escape from them on the way to buying camels. And they got us before we could. Nobody believed us. And then once we got back in the car, we were given a lethal injection and found 1,000 years later by an outback Australian archaeologist.
Dang. How have
yeah.
we run into more kidnappers than we haven't?
Right.
There's just
We're like-
that many kidnappers in this place?
Let's make the
Yeah.
safe choices. Oh, we've been kidnapped.
Yeah.
Oh, we've been killed.
Yeah. Welcome to Australia, home of the kidnappers. So what we're going to decide to do is see what happens if we actually go with Anna Williams, the nice lady we met at the train station.
With the grim morning. Yeah.
Maybe we misjudged her a little
Maybe
bit.
we misjudged her.
To be
I mean,
fair, that mullet is a little misleading.
Yeah.
And I still think anybody that says it's for your own good is probably not to be trusted. So just putting that out there.
So we're going to go to page 34 and start seeing what happens with Anna Williams. I may be sorry for this, you say with a sigh, but I'll come. Good, Anna replies with a big smile. I promise you that you're doing the right thing. She grabs your heaviest bag and heads for the parking lot. You notice that she keeps a discreet eye on the crowd, as if she's looking for someone or watching out. But nothing happens. Anna leads you cheerfully to a shiny new Land Rover, throws your things in the back, and expertly maneuvers into traffic. Well, you say after driving for several minutes in silence, my briefing?
What?
Oh yeah, she promised a briefing on your
did
way.
she?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
She said she'd brief you on the way.
But really,
right.
such an indignant little brat. You couldn't even finish the first chapter of your beginning archaeology book. Well, my briefing.
Hold on, she says, going for a chocolate bar. No, can't trust her.
I don't really work for your uncle. Not directly, anyway, she begins.
Man, we're being kidnapped again.
It's actually an LLC hidden behind a paywall. Anyway, sorry.
Great, just great. I walked right into a trap, you say bitterly. Oh, you don't understand. Anna tries to give you a reassuring smile. I'm with the Australian intelligence. I've been assigned to your uncle's case. My uncle's case? You repeat? But Alice Springs is a small town. And before Anna can continue, you've pulled up to the Barker House Hotel. Come on, I'll tell you everything in the room, she replies.
So this is just a kidnapping story. Like, it's just us being kidnapped
Right.
repeatedly. There's no solution
No.
that doesn't lead to kidnapping.
It's okay. The government kidnapped us.
Oh,
and
that's
you can
okay
always
then.
trust them.
Yeah, why? Good idea.
Without stopping at the front desk, Anna leads you up to the central staircase to a room on the second floor. A familiar figure sits on the bed, talking on the phone. His back to you. Gilroy, you exclaim.
Oh, thank
The
goodness.
figure turns.
So tired of being kidnapped.
But it's not Gilroy at all.
Oh, come on.
Kidnapped.
It's someone who looks just like him.
Oh.
Behind you, you hear the click of the door being shut. You break into a cold sweat. What's going on? The man hangs up the phone and comes towards you with a warm smile. If you decide to make a run for it.
No.
Turn to page 76. If you decide to wait and see if there's an explanation for the morning's strange events, turn to page 51.
Familiar person who also Billroy.
So we're surrounded by strangers who are kidnapping us, and we could run. We know
we
how
can
that
choose
goes.
to try to run.
We've had good luck
Even
with
though
that.
the door's been locked behind you.
Although
Yeah,
this
where are we
time,
gonna run? To crash
it
through the
doesn't
window?
say. There's bound to be an opportunity to escape
True.
later.
Yeah, the narrator's not warning us this time,
Yeah.
so maybe it'll be okay.
Well, I feel like running went poorly last time. So, and I don't know how you know it's Gilroy, but it looks just like him, but it's not him.
Yeah.
Is that what we have?
Exactly.
Okay.
It looked just like you,
I-
but it turned around
So maybe
and
it's
it wasn't
like
you.
maybe it's like a double. Maybe it's like a body double
Yeah.
of him.
Yeah.
And
Secret robot twin.
Ooh.
Okay,
Anything
come
could
on.
happen in this book.
Spoilers.
I would like to see a badge from this identification from this intelligence person because you'd think they'd have to show some kind of credentials, but maybe not in Australia.
Yeah, I think running is going to be a bad idea. There's nowhere to run, unless we crash through the window, which seems extreme.
Let's just wait. They haven't threatened us yet.
Yeah, they want to
so
tell us stuff.
I
They're
feel
like, we're going to tell you things, which we haven't gotten yet. So maybe we should hear the things.
Let's hear them out
You want to hear what's going on?
Yeah, let's
before
hear
we
what's going on.
jump out the
Yeah.
window to our death or whatever.
Yeah, we're only on the second floor. We can tuck and roll.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah. We're small. Okay, so we are going to hang out and listen and hear out what's going on, and we're going to run.
Yep.
Hang out.
Hang
Okay.
out. Hang
All
out.
right, so we're going to go see what happens if we sit around for an explanation right after this short word from our sponsors.
sexyhackers.com.
Today's program is brought to you by the Barker House Hotel in Alice Springs, Australia. Looking for a place to stay in Alice Springs? Well, we're your only option. But don't worry, you'll have a grand old time here. We've got a continental breakfast, a little nook for you there, and a free body double to bamboozle your enemies. So why not come down to the Barker House Hotel? It's great for you and you.
sexyhackers.com.
And we are back to turn to page fun. So we were in a room brought to you by a woman who says that she's with the Australian Intelligence Agency. Mm-hmm. And then we thought we saw our Uncle Gilroy, but it wasn't him. And now we're going to sit around and let them explain themselves. Right? All right.
Give him a chance.
Okay. Thank you for coming, the stranger says, shaking her hand vigorously. As he speaks, Anna turns on a portable radio full blast. Security precaution, the man assures you in a low voice. We believe that the room is bagged.
Is it Men at Work playing? I can only assume it would be.
It is Men at Work because actually it's ABBA because
Oh, okay.
Australians love ABBA.
True. That's true.
It was in the air tonight. The star was bright. Fernando. Where's my uncle? I get it in the air tonight. I want to know what's going on, Fernando. You demand. For a variety of complex reasons, your uncle has become the target of an international terrorist organization. The man replies patiently. He is temporarily in hiding under the protection of the Australian Intelligence Service. Anna and I work for the agency. My name is Jim Dodds. We have instructions to take you to see your uncle right now, if you're willing. However, we have also been instructed to inform you that if you decide to proceed, you may be facing real danger. Your very life could be at stake. It's my opinion that someone your age should not be exposed to such risks, but your uncle seems to think you can handle it.
He's just a bad uncle.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
He's fine.
So it's up to you.
Wow.
What kind of shit? Intelligence services.
Why did how was he even able to call? At what point was the uncle under protective custody and he told the government hey, I want to talk to my grandson or my nephew or whatever.
Yeah.
Bring him out
here.
Yeah, that's right. And they're like, sure, yeah, give him the phone, give him a call.
All right.
Well, And because we know the future in this case. What happens if we didn't go? So, like in that scenario where we just left, the intelligence service was like, well, all right, I'm sure we'll be fine.
He'll be fine. He's dead.
Oh, well, turns
they
out
don't
terrorists got him. But
Definitely egg on all faces.
certainly. But sunny side up, I always say, huh?
Yeah.
Onwards and upwards, and down underwards.
I just don't understand why an uncle would do that.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
Because he's more like a friend.
Right.
Or a cousin.
A cool cousin.
Well, of course I'll come, you answer without pause.
All right.
Jim and Anna nod in assent. Leaving the radio on, they take you down the fire escape into the back of a furniture van waiting in an alley behind the hotel.
Oh, we are taking a chance.
Well, it also just seems inefficient. Like they were in the Land Rover driving.
Why
It's
don't
like,
they just
well,
take
let's-
you, from the land? Why do they have to go to the hotel?
The
don't know.
bugged hotel room.
That old lady could be watching. And
The furniture van is actually filled with furniture.
oh.
So you find a comfortable couch to lie in and settle in for a silent ride to Gilroy's hideout. It's growing dark by the time you arrive, but you can see enough to tell that you've been brought to some kind of cattle station. No other houses are in sight. Anna and Jim lead you inside, and there, at last, is your uncle. Gilroy! You shout, running to him and giving him a huge hug. Sorry about this, your uncle says. Intelligence got to me after I called you. There's no way to inform you safely over the phone.
Oh.
Well, what's going on, you ask, for the 100th time in the last 2 days. I'm probably the best person. Oh, sorry. I'm probably the best person to answer that question, says an older man standing up from his chair in the corner. Tom Winks is my name. Major Tom Winks. I'm head of the military intelligence of the Northern Territory and commander of this operation. Why don't you have a seat?
So he's an old man, but he's also an old Australian man. Can we get that voice too?
An old Australian, fine. His old
I'd like to
Australian
be
man.
like an old British, just on transfer. Man, he could be whatever.
What a great name.
Winks. Major Winks.
Yeah, like he had to work his way up to being
Like, there's different Australian accents.
It's true.
No.
You sit next to Gilroy on the couch and notice for the first time that there are several other people in the room. With a deep breath, Major Winks begins.
Major Winks.
I'm sorry, but that's not what I just assumed the cat's name is.
Major Winks. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Major Winks.
He's actually, the old man's just holding a cat that's talking. And he's got little epaulets on. Approximately 2 weeks ago, Australia intelligence received a tip that 4 members of the Brotherhood of Allah, an international terrorist group based in Libya, were about to enter the country. When the tip turned out to be true, our only question was, what could they want with us? Unlike Europe or the States, Australia has had very little trouble with these types, but needless to say, we placed them under closest surveillance anyway. Major Winks pauses.
Pause. So I'm just assuming it's a giant cat now.
Yep, he's now a giant cat wearing military outfit in my imagination.
Yes, just a big cat talking, somebody's holding him. It shortly became apparent that they came here for one thing, uranium. Uranium, you say?
They're telling this to a kid.
Yes. Uranium to make nuclear weapons, Anna interrupts. Almost every government in the world today fears that one of these groups will unlock the secrets of atomic weaponry. With enough uranium, they could ransom their target nations, or even the world.
That's the world. All right.
Yeah.
Of course, the markets in uranium are strictly controlled. Getting hold of enough for a bomb is not an easy feat, Major Winks goes on. The one alternative is these groups have to acquire it from...
His whiskers
Yeah,
twitching.
Now that you've, I just have this little pause like this. He's like doing this every once in a while. As he's dangling there. Like, that's just funny, no matter how you look.
He's wearing a little hat.
As he speaks, Major Winks crawls into a tiny box in the corner.
Spins a few times.
The one alternative these groups have is to acquire it from an entirely new source. For instance, a mine where no controls have been instituted. Best of all, one that hasn't even been officially discovered. This is where your Uncle Gilroy comes in.
Okay.
Okay, I'm glad they explained why our uncle called us. That at least that's a little better, but still, then to just start telling them government secrets it seems a little.
Well, what does Gilroy have to do with uranium, you ask? Before the amulet business, I had projected the location of the lost civilization of Staterian on several scientific papers, your uncle explains.
And this location,
Major Winks adds, while rolling a ball of yarn over to him.
is almost exactly aligned with the new uranium deposits spotted by a high-powered American satellite called Infiltrator 4. We feel that the Brotherhood of Allah somehow found out that the satellite readouts and came here intending to overtake Gilroy's expedition and use it as a front.
Incidentally, your uncle adds, Beninui, my trekker friend, found the amulet slightly south of my projected destination. You pause, trying to absorb all this information. So what's the plan? You finally ask.
We need you to negotiate for some camels.
Go with these nice people.
Our plan is to stage a fake expedition and lure the terrorist into the desert after it.
Major Winks announces after chasing after a laser. I'm your uncle's decoy, the substitute Gilroy Adams, Jim Dodd says. Well, you think that explains his uncanny resemblance to your uncle and your own mistake back at the hotel. I'll be heading the false expedition.
Meanwhile,
I'll be taking off secret tonight, begin my dig where Beninui found the amulet, Gilroy adds. What about me?
That's a good question,
Major Winks replies.
We didn't reach your uncle until after he had called you from his hotel. Quite rightly, we already suspected that something was amiss. We think that the Brotherhood of Allah had the phone bugged. If that's the case, then your participation in the decoy expedition would lend that much more credibility. If you do participate, you will be making an invaluable contribution not only to the safety of Australia, but of the world, adds the Major. Don't touch my belly.
Kisses.
I must repeat, though.
Don't touch my belly.
Don't touch my belly. You may look at it, but don't touch it. That there is grave risk involved. If you choose not to go, you may accompany your own uncle's expedition. While pursuing your own archaeological objectives, his team will provide support and backup to ours. And that too has its dangers. Who knows what the Brotherhood would do if they uncovered our deception, Major Winks finishes.
In the litter box. Walks back over to you.
Finishes, goes to the litter box and makes a stinky poop.
Just hear a little.
Yeah, just hear him shuffling his little paws. Then he comes back out and just starts hitting his head
Shakes
against
his
people like you better.
Butt muscles up there.
You look into Gilroy's face, but you can't tell what he's thinking. Everyone else is quietly waiting for you to make up your mind.
Maybe try looking into his eyes and not just at his face. Like,
Yeah.
here, let me just stare at your cheek and make a decision.
Yeah, looking at your forehead. Figuring it out.
If you decide to go with the decoy expedition, turn to page 46. If you decide to leave on the real expedition, turn to page 68.
Also, I like that you're a minor and they're letting you make these decisions.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
you're in
everyone's.
charge.
I think we've established that just everybody's irresponsible.
Yeah.
really, really.
I mean, it's
irresponsible.
Australia, so anything goes.
Everything goes.
They're
yeah.
pretty relaxed in Australia.
Things are different there. Yeah.
Also, your parents are probably fine.
Right. I mean, they put a cat in charge, so they're military. Anything goes.
Major Winks.
Major Winks report for duty.
All right, so our option is to actually do the thing we wanted to do.
Yeah, so actually just stay with our uncle, which seems to be the better idea, or go off with these
the military
special
guys
intelligence strangers.
as like the sting operation,
Yeah.
so
Right.
that the terrorists think that that's the real one.
Why would you go with? Why would
Yeah, why would they
you
even
go
give you the
with
opportunity?
decoy?
Right.
To help
Why would that
undersell
even be
the
a
cover.
question?
Well, and if they're watching the other expedition as well, like, then they're gonna. I don't know. It seems. Yeah.
My only thought is because there's a body double, maybe there'll be some sort of assassination attempt, and they're more likely to believe he's with his uncle than if he's not. So if we go with the fake expedition, that might actually lead to the death of this decoy and not his uncle.
Right. Or your own death because they're gonna attack.
We made the safest choices ever before.
So
and
they're-
that played real well in murdering us.
So you're thinking tactically, where the best chance for this whole thing to succeed is if you play decoy with the uncle because they know you're there and they're
Correct.
coming.
Yep.
Okay, so
That's
then
my
they
thought.
can get they can capture the terrorists, and then you can get back to your archaeology.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if things go wrong, at
I
least
mean,
it's this decoy
hopefully you have
version.
enough time to read chapter 1 of Introduction to Archaeology
Yeah,
before you
still
get
way
started.
behind.
Yeah, hopefully.
You're gonna get there. Your uncle's gonna be like, "Didn't you read that primer? Oh, come on! You're off the expedition, kid."
All
What
right.
are-
What do we want to do?
This is a tough one.
What are the odds if we go on the decoy expedition? Anna Hawkins is going to go with her, or Anna, whatever her name is.
Williams.
Williams. Sorry, that's one of my customers. That's weird. Anna Williams is, and you get to have like your first sexual experience as a
that could happen,
child.
yeah.
That's
That's a
a
child.
as a 13-year-old. That is the median age for children to lose their virginity.
Wow, dropping facts. Well, we did get
In
an injection
Australia?
that killed us earlier, so who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it's
right.
danger or.
Quit hemming and hawing. All right, I'm going to McLaughlin this.
All right,
Jacob,
Let's go with the decoy.
Laura,
Decoy.
Brian.
Well, I'm gonna say I'm outvoted, but I would say go with your real uncle.
Okay, well,
go
we're going
with
with the decoy.
Going with the
And we're going to
decoy.
find out what happens with that after this short word from our sponsors.
sexyhackers.com.
Today's episode of Turn the Page Fun brought to you by RUU The Roo, Australia's premier rock station, featuring ABBA, more ABBA, nighttime drive blocks of 90 minutes of ABBA with no commercials. And don't forget to tune in every morning for Croc and Dingo on the Morning Roo. That's RUU The Roo. How's the Roo treating you?
sexyhackers.com.
And we're back to Turn the Page Fun. So we just decided, after an overly long explanation of a very complicated plan, thought up of what is decidedly a talking cat who is in charge of Australian intelligence, that we are going to go with a decoy expedition with a body double of your uncle to try to lure out these terrorists known as the Brotherhood of Allah who are trying to get uranium.
Right.
Has everybody got that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
easy to follow. Easy.
Also,
Very easy.
isn't uranium radioactive in
It
its
is very
natural form,
radioactive.
or is it like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
I don't know. I think you have to enrich it before it kind of
Oh,
becomes
okay.
destabilized.
Okay.
So it
fair.
is
I don't know
slightly
about uranium.
radioactive, but it's not like deadly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess if it's just sitting in a mine.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's why Major Winks couldn't go on this one because he kept like,
Yeah.
batting it around.
I think it's still pretty radioactive though from the start. I'm not 100% on this.
Well,
but
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's degrading, but you have to enrich it in order for it to be. I guess
I got you.
it involves centrifuges and yellow cake. And,
Yes.
yeah. Yes.
Cake.
Science.
Why do you know so much about uranium?
Yeah.
What? No reason.
No reason at all. We have nothing. A professional, not uranium stealer. So we're gonna go and try to catch these people. Cool. I'd like to help catch these awful people. You tell the assembled group. Good. The major nods and smiles, and rolls over on his back, purring.
He's got little fangs.
We thought we could count on you.
The only thing you feel badly about is putting off your first expedition with Gilroy. But your uncle makes you feel better. We'll be spending most of our time supporting a group anyway, he tells you. I'm really proud of you. He adds, beaming. In a short while, the plane depositing Gilroy and his team in the desert takes off. You are given a comfortable cot to sleep in, and soon you're sound asleep.
A comfortable cot?
A
Is that
comfortable cot.
an actual thing?
Yes.
I've slept in one or two in my day.
How many cots have you slept in?
Two. We're real comfy.
I slept in 1 or 2 in my day. How many? 2.
And one was comfortable.
That's about the truth. Yeah.
The next morning, Major Winks fills you in on the details after waking you up at 5 a.m.
Kneading your eyelids with his tiny
Pawing your
claws.
face. He's like just pawing you. He's like, "Hey, kid, it's time for your briefing."
We will leave from here in 4 all-terrain vehicles at noon. It would be simpler to fly, of course, as your uncle did, but we want to give the Brotherhood of Allah a good chance to follow us. There will be 8 of us altogether. I have arranged for a detailed story about the expedition, complete with maps, to be released to the press shortly after we depart. This will give us plenty of time to lead. It will also give the enemy our exact location. We'll head into the Gibson for several hundred miles, then camp overnight. The uranium belt thereafter is about 600 miles from here. That will be our final destination. He finishes. Any questions?
You say 600 miles?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
right.
Do we
So, yeah.
So we want to give the enemy our exact location. We don't want to like mislead, like 10 miles off or anything. We want
Well,
to.
10 miles off was where the amulet was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want him to know exactly where we are. We want to put
guess-
ourselves in maximum danger.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you
think
gotta.
that's gonna work
You
for
gotta
us.
set the bait to make the trap. Not that I know anything about traps.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
None of us do. We're all good people here.
We're
the
all good
only one
people.
who's not committing crime in their
You
off
are
time.
not.
No, we don't commit crimes.
We're the non-crime
We're
committers.
professional non-crime committers.
It's only a crime if you get caught.
Yeah. What do we do once we get there? You want to know? Since Jim will be posing as Gilroy, we'll go about what will appear to be normal archaeological pursuits, Major Winks explains. The rest of us will go into hiding. We expect the Brotherhood to arrive within a day. Jim will be wearing a concealed tape recorder, and he'll use it to try to get proof of their intentions. While they're confronting each other, we'll come out of hiding, surround the area, and take them captive. We hope, you think. Major Winks excuses himself, promising to answer any more questions later. The rest of the morning passes quickly as you pack the jeeps for your trip. Spirits are high when you pull out of the corral at midday. You are assigned to the jeep driven by Anna. Your cargo includes most of the food and some water drums. The drive is dusty, hot, and dull. You are grateful for the first night's camp and the arrival of dusk. The sight of your bedroll makes you yawn hugely. Why don't you lie down for a little while? Anna suggests.
Oh man, it's happening.
Foreshadow.
I'll wake you up when dinner's ready. Thanks, you say, curling up near the fire. Even with all the noise of camp, you fall asleep quickly.
Was it
Mamma
2
mia.
sleepings in one chapter? Or
Yes.
One. Wow.
Yes.
Really, really having a tough time creating content, I think.
It's hunger, not Anna, that finally awakens you. You look around and realize that everyone is gone.
Oh, shit.
The jeeps are still there. Some tents have been erected. A pot boils on the fire. But where is everyone? Anna? Major Winks? You call.
You open a can
your
of
wings.
tuna.
He comes running. No one answers. You walk over to a little rise nearby to get a view of things. When you first spot the others, your only feeling is relief, and you start to run toward them, but immediately you stop dead in your tracks. All 7 are kneeling on prayer rugs pointed west, the direction of Mecca.
Oh man.
In low voices, they wail melancholy Islamic prayers. Instinctively, you run back to your bedroll and pretend to be asleep. What does this mean?
Whoa, we have to show this picture.
Yeah, we
Yes.
definitely.
Okay.
This is
So
amazing.
there's a picture of all of the people, and they are all on their knees, and they are heads down, and they are all the whitest people that you will ever see.
But also all dead-eyed zombies.
Oh, well,
Like,
they're
Well, I
Eyes
think
are
their
closed.
eyes are shaded.
it's-
Eyes are closed.
that's some weird ink and pen.
yeah.
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 You
Yeah.
see it? Yeah.
But
Now, I would like to point out, if you look very closely at the Major's face, I think it's just shading, but it does look like he has tiny little fangs sticking out of his mouth, which just cements it
They knew he was
that
sort of like a
much
cat
more.
named
Yeah, he is definitely a cat. Yeah, this is an inaccurate picture because there is no little cat with epaulets and a tiny hat. I don't know what they're trying to sell us on that picture.
Okay, so these are all very convincing
devout.
terrorists?
Maybe.
Maybe.
You know what?
Or maybe, you know what? Maybe they're Muslim.
I just
Maybe
feel like
they're
they're
just
devout
maybe
Muslims.
they're just all Muslim.
Yeah, that could be. You're right.
And they're still working for the Australian Intelligence Agency.
That's entirely
because
possible.
That's completely acceptable.
That,
Yeah, maybe this is teaching us to be more accepting of people we don't understand.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we know that's not the truth.
I mean, it was 88. Yeah, that wasn't really popular at the time.
Yeah.
A short while later, the other members of your team amble back into camp. You overhear Jim Dobbs talking to Major Winks. Kid's fooled for now, he says. But what happens when we begin morning? Don't worry. We'll figure out some creative method of disposal, the so-called Major Winks replies.
Oh, so called.
Praise be to Allah that things have gone well so far.
Okay. I'm just really interested to see what their plan is, because they could have just sent you on the expedition with your uncle.
Right.
Why do
did
they even-
give you the choice?
Why do they even have your
All right,
uncle?
so here's the plan. You could go with your uncle, or you can go with us, and then we'll have to dispose of you somehow.
And we'll tell your uncle, all right, oh, it turns out the amulet is somewhere else, not in this uranium mine? Okay, you go look for it there. We're just going to protect this uranium mine. Don't look into it any further.
As reality sets in, you're filled with panic. This is no decoy trip. These people are the very terrorists you've been warned against by them. That's what it says. They're very warned against, but they're the ones who warned you against them. So why would they even fucking bring up that they're trying to hide? Why are they even bringing up that they're?
I don't.
I'm
Unless
just happy
they've
that
all
there's
been kidnapped and they're all wearing masks. Like at some
all
point, like
body
when you
doubles.
went to sleep, they're all body doubles.
I just think it's great to think that Major Winks is now a terrorist.
Of course, a talking cat would be a terrorist.
All demands are simple: fish, small rodents.
Plenty of tuna.
Right? A nice spot in the sunshine.
Right, and it's got to stay in the same spot. I'm not going to get up and follow it all over the place.
So what you're going to need to do is create a giant mirror,
It follows the orbit of the sun.
son, and focus right down here on Caprala.
I'm gonna need 1 million in scritches to be
Not on the
dulled.
belly. You can only look at my belly. Yeah, so he's an evil terrorist cat. All right. These are the people, they're the very terrorists you've been warned against. And their ultimate goal is to create an atomic bomb. You roll over in your bag. A few moments later, Anna shakes you gently, but you mumble something about being too tired to eat. You have some serious thinking to do. Slowly, you come to realize that you have two options, and neither one is safe. You can try to escape tonight in one of the jeeps while the others sleep, or you can play along and look for a way to sabotage their plans, even if it means losing your own life. Hours pass. The camp goes quiet. It's time to make up your mind. If you decide to attempt an escape by jeep, turn to page 71. If you decide to stay, hoping that some opportunity for overtaking this group will arise, turn to page 87. And we are going to decide what we're going to do next week on Turn to Page Fun.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
The cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger and the plot is thickening in this terror in Australia.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Now we know what it means.
Right.
And actually, maybe this is the origin story for like Jack Bauer, because it's starting to feel that way.
All right. Well,
I mean, at least it's positing that anybody can
a
be
hero.
Muslim.
Oh,
That's
Muslim.
true. Yeah, that's somewhat progressive.
But we're gonna find out what we're gonna choose to do with these Muslim terrorists that are hiding in plain sight by pretending to be
Australian intelligence.
and then just doing the plan that they're trying to prevent.
And where are the Nazis in this from before?
Yeah, where are
We
the
don't have
Nazis?
to
How are
worry
they
about the
even
Nazis.
involved?
We didn't read anything about the Nazis.
That's true.
Oh wait, no, we did bump
Yep.
into that guy on the train.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
but we didn't
true.
know he was a Nazi at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Oh, these parallel universes.
Oh man! All right.
Yeah, false
well,
memories.
thank you so much for joining me today, Mr. Brian Bayer.
It's right. Thank you
It's
for
right.
having me.
Yep. Thank you, Laura Halterman.
Thanks, guys. Don't commit crimes this week.
Okay, we make
Make
no
good
guarantees.
choices. Make good choices.
And thanks again for our very special guest, professional not crime doer,
See?
Mr.
in the name.
Jake Wolfel.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
It's been fun.
Thanks so much to Sexy Hackers for giving this wonderful space, and to Jason for letting us do our crazy, crazy podcast. And thank you for being you and listening to us read to you. I'm your host, Nick Fear, and I'll see you next week on Turn to Page Fun!
Meow.
SexyHackers.com! Stream Team!